Right, hey up, it's Steve from that old Yorkshire Geek, and welcome to episode 98 of Friday Night Upon with Fear. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late, because I had two films to watch before we started, so that's why I'm a bit late. But anyway, it's a double bill tonight. We're doing two, where have I put it? There it is. Doing two Quatermass films, the first two, produced by Hammer, the Quatermass Xperiment, with emphasis on X. And Quatermass 2, but we're starting off with the Quatermass Xperiment, because it was X-rated, because anything that was even, slightly scary got slapped an X certificate in the olden days. Anywho, before we start, don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell. If you're subscribed already, then you'll get to know when I do new things. Right, we're live on Rumble, yes, Facebook, whatever, YouTube. For Christ's sake. We're live on YouTube, we're live on Rumble, yes, and we are live on Twitch and all. Right, so later on I'll upload it to Spotify and Amazon Music Podcasts. I'm also on Facebook, X, and Instagram. Links in the description, as are links to my two books, Mercury Rapids, Silent Predator, Give 'em a Whirl. They're on Amazon, Kindle and paperback. And what else? I've got a Patreon where I do exclusive stuff or early access videos, stuff like that. I've also got merch, a merch thing, yes, because I've got my bloody t-shirt on. There we go. I've got a merch page where you can get t-shirts with stuff like this on. Friday Night Appointment with Fear, and the TOYG logo and all that stuff. So that's in the description. Link for that in the description as well. Right, let's just get on with it, shall we? So, right, Quatermass. Bernard Quatermass, or as they say in America, Bernard Quatermass. Created by Nigel Neal, a writer who I think originally from the Isle of Man. I think he was born in the Isle of Man, which is an island in the UK, in between England and Ireland. It's where you've got the Manx cats that have no tails. Anyway, became a prolific, prolific BBC writer in the 50s and 60s. But is most famous for doing, and 70s, is most famous for doing, for creating Quatermass, who was sometimes a crotchety scientist, sometimes is a kindly old man scientist, sometimes just this, hard-nosed academic. But it depends probably what Nigel Neal's mood were in when he were writing him. But anyway, but I love Nigel Neal's work. Is a huge influence on me. There's three writers that have had the biggest influence on me. One's Nigel Neal. Oh, should have done that, shouldn't I? All that, whatever. One's Nigel Neal, another's Harry Harrison, and the other's Graham Masterton. So there we go. They're the three writers that have influenced me more than any other. Anywho, so right, we'll begin with the Quatermass Experiment, which was the first of the Quatermass stories. It was originally a BBC serial in 1953. This movie came out in 1955, and Nigel Neal wasn't happy with the script that they'd done for it, because they'd essentially changed the ending. I think that's what they were upset about. But originally, the BBC Quatermass serials were originally broadcast live. They did have inserts, pre-recorded inserts, but essentially the most of it was broadcast live, which were a thing, in the 50s. I remember in the early 2000s, I can't remember exactly, maybe 2005-ish, something like that. They did redo it on the newly founded BBC Three. They did the Quatermass Experiment again with Jason Fleming as Quatermass. And they did it live, and I watched it, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it, especially the part where one of the actors forgot his lines. But they got through it. Anywho, by the way, I've not seen the original Quatermass Experiment, and I've not seen the original Quatermass 2 either, the BBC versions. I've got them because I've got the BBC box set. It's over there somewhere, but for some reason I didn't want to watch them, and I don't know why. I just didn't want to. But I did watch Quatermass in the Pit, which is amazing. It was one of the greatest stories of all time, in my opinion, but I'm waffling. Right, so anyway, the Quatermass Experiment, it was just originally for the serial, it was just the Quatermass Experiment, but for the film, they wanted to put the emphasis on the X and the X certificate, and that it was from Hammer Films, and it was kind of sci-fi horror. Well, not sort of, it was sci-fi horror, so they wanted to put the emphasis on X to show that it's, for adults only and all that. Anyway, directed by Val Guest, screenplay by Richard Landau and Val Guest, obviously based on the Quatermass Experiment by Nigel Neal. Stars Brian Donlevy as Bernard Quatermass, who's bloody awful, but he's the only actor to play Quatermass twice. But he's horrible, and Nigel Neal hated him, and he's a terrible Quatermass. But anyway, Richard Wordsworth, Jack Warner, was more famous for being Dixon of Dock Green in the UK back in the day. David Kingwood, Margie Dean, Maurice Kaufman. It was released in 1955 in the UK, and it had a budget of between, because Wikipedia is not quite certain, between £42,000 and £140,000, or £42,000 or $140,000. Maybe that's what it was worth back then. I don't know, but anyway, it didn't cost a lot anyway. It was pretty low budget, but they did well. They did well with it. And Dretch Tiger's here saying, yo! Meanwhile, Win Grace says, I love this Avril Lavigne song. He was a Quater boy. I like Avril Lavigne. Anyway, right, so there we go. So that's the information about it. Right, we will begin, as usual, and not just be playing the film, even though it's an old one. I don't think it's, copyright free, but we're watching a series of stills. I'll try and remember info about it. But anyway, off we go. So I'll make myself titch tiny. There we go. I'll have to get rid of that stuff. Where are we? There we go. There it is. There we sorted. And I will add it to stage, and off we goes. Right. So let's see if it's going to come on. There we go. Good old Leo the Lion. Metro Goldwyn Mayer. Right, here we go. Exclusive Film presents. Don't it say a Hammer production? Go back. No, it don't. Maybe it does in a minute. Exclusive Film presents. Come on. No, it's not going to say a Hammer production, is it? Anyway, there you go. Brian Donlevy and Jack Warner getting equal billing by arrangement with J. Arthur Rank. They must have had to ask permission. The Quatermass Xperiment with one X. And there's the rest of them. Lionel Jeffries, you may know him, is a British character actor. Usually does comedic parts. He's been in loads of stuff like Railway Children, First Man in the Moon, and a million other things. Thora Heard, a famous British comedy actor. Gordon Jackson, most famous for being Cowley in The Professionals. But I know him from The Great Escape. He was the fella in The Great Escape. They all got out of the prison camp in Great Escape, and they were pretending to be Germans and speaking German, and they're getting on a bus going, yeah, etc. And then this German agent or whatever says, good luck, and he goes, oh, thank you. And then they arrest him. I think they kill him after that, but never mind. And Sam Kidd down there. Sam Kidd, he plays a policeman, a police sergeant. And when we see him, he reminds me of Hoggle from Labyrinth. I'm sure they based the Hoggle on Sam Kidd, but anyway. Off we go. There we go. Based on the BBC television play by Nigel Neal, 1955. Right. Any other good names? Les Bowie, know that name. Special effects, it pops up a lot. Anyway, right, thanks to everybody. Directed by Val Guest. Val Guest has done loads of genre work, loads of sci-fi stuff, hasn't he? Just think of a sci-fi film for the 50s and he'll have done it. Right, so we begin with two young lovers walking along a very well-lit nighttime scene with a church in the background. It's all very idyllic, isn't it? It's like Watership Down. Do you reckon that's not real? Do you reckon that's a matte painting? I don't know. It could be, couldn't it? Could be on a studio set for all we know. But anyway, so they're walking down and then they're running and going and frolicking in the hay. But then they hear a noise, something's coming, and he points, look at that. So they go running into the house. This fella says, get in the house. And then they hear a big crash and everything all starts collapsing. So he says, check the phone, see if it's working, call the police. So this is where he's going to go out and we're going to find out what's happened. So he goes out, and there we go. A blooming great rocket ship has nosedived into the ground. Elon Musk, take note. Anyway, so There it is. So within minutes, there's a crowd and the police and ambulances and everybody and the fire brigade. Oh, here comes the fire brigade. Here they are. Look, here's the fire brigade. Trumpton's best. if you know, you know. Din 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 din. Pew pew, Barney McGrew, Cuthbert Dribble Grub. Din 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 din. If you know, you know. So anyway, so here we go. Well, you are, and then there's a policeman. He likes these for some reason. They had another one of these in Quatermass and the Pit, the '67 version. Will you all please return to your homes? Giving it all that. Run along now. Anyway, so there we go. So anyway, Quatermass is going to arrive in a minute. When he's ready. They can't put water on it. It's still too hot, and they think if they put water on it, it might explode. Anyway. Here we go. Is that no, it didn't, is it? I was going to say that Michael Gough, but it can't be, can it? Who will the newsread? It looks a bit old to be Michael Gough. I'm going to have to check. All cast and crew. Let's have a look. I can't bloody see. TV announcer. Do you reckon that's him? Or BBC announcer. No, it's not Michael Gough anyway. Looks like him though, doesn't it? Well, I think it does. Anywho, so, you know, they're putting everybody, you know, no danger, but stay away, etc. So, here comes Quatermass. That's Brian Donlevy as Bernard Quatermass. Is an American in this. I was supposed to be Canadian, I don't know, but he's got an accent. In the other ones, in Quatermass 2 is the same one. In Quatermass in the Pit, is actually played by a Scot, Nigel Green. Not Nigel Green. I forgot his bloody name now. I'm blanking. I am. I'm gonna have to check. Cause it'll bother me. Oh God. Andrew Keir, that's it. Why am I thinking Nigel Green? I don't know. Nigel Green, somebody else completely. But anyway, Andrew Keir in Quatermass and the Pit. And I think in the TV versions, it was a different fella playing Quatermass each time. Don't ask me who the first two were, but in Quatermass and the Pit, the BBC version, it was Andre Morel. And they should have got him for the movie version in 1967 because he was working for Hammer at the time, so I don't know why they didn't get him, but anyway, never mind. Anyway, so here he is. There's Lionel Jeffries playing, I think it's some government chap. She's the wife of one of the astronauts. I don't know why the other astronauts, maybe they're not married, I don't know, but she's there, and there's some other fella, and he's one of Quatermass's assistants, or as Brian Donlevy calls him, Quatermass. Not Quatermass, Quatermass. Anyway, so, and he's horrible. He's awful in this film. Not as in a terrible actor, just the character is like cold and emotionless, and well, not emotional, just angry. If he's got an emotion, it's angry. He's angry all the time, and doesn't care about anything, you know, apart from his work and all that stuff. But anyway, so they arrive at the rocket's crash site, and he doesn't seem to care about the men inside. He just keeps saying, "Oh, it's amazing and all that," and they'll go into history and all this stuff. Anyway, so she's worrying, as her husband in there. They're trying to get through. They're using the radio to contact the 3 astronauts inside. What they're called? I think it's Karoom, Green, and a German-sounding name. It'll tell us in a minute. Anyway, so they're going to try and open the door by remote control because they hear noise from inside. They hear like tapping from inside, so a bit like War of the Worlds. They hear tapping, so they decided somebody's still alive inside, and they've said, you told us not to open it because of the heat and it might blow up and all that. But he says, well, if we wait, they might die. So tells the dead or alive, they'll be heroes. They don't care. So anyway, Quatermass tells the fire brigade to aim your hoses at the doorway when it opens and all that stuff. So that's what they're going to do. There we go, Green Reichenheim, Karoon, that's it. This is Quatermass. But anyway, there's no answer. But then they hear, there you go, tapping from inside. So they decide they're going to try and open the rocket door by remote control. So anyway, so they're getting ready with their hoses. Look, wee diddly din 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 din. They don't do a very good job with these hoses when it shows them hosing. Well, one of them, very little sprinkle come out, but anyway, never mind. So they're getting ready, and the door starts to open. Here it goes in a minute. They're getting ready. One, right? So there we go. They started spraying. Let's have a look at the. There he is. This fella over on the left here. This fella, he's not got much pressure on his hose, has he? He's thinking, why am I here? I don't know why I'm here. Anyway, sorry, move my mouse pointer. Anyway, the door opens, an astronaut emerges and rolls down the hill. There he is. And it turns out it's Caroon, who's played by, I'll tell you in a minute. Come on, where are we? Richard Wordsworth as Victor Caroon, and he's, I think, amazing in this. I know he should have got some sort of award, I think, but we'll get there. So anyway, so he's alive. Anyway, they go inside, and we see space suits and stuff, but they seem to be empty. But they're all sealed up as though they were worn. But they're all empty and there's no bodies inside. So they don't know what's happened to Green and whatever the other one's called. Riken, whatever. I've forgotten already. So there is going to look in the basically the engine room's going to look in there. It must, I don't know, it must be like a ball or something inside the rocket. Because when he does this lever, as you'll see, it corrects itself. You see, it's on like a Dutch angle, because it's crashed. And then look, it goes doot 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 like that. So it must be some sort of gyroscopic thing to keep it level. Not that it matters in space, but never mind. So it looks inside, so there's nobody in there either. So anyway, so they're wondering what's gone on. Anyway, they find the camera. There was a camera aboard that seems to be all smashed. There you go. I'm afraid the camera can't tell us anything, but it does later. They get the film out. Anyway, so they're getting Caroon off in the ambulance, but Quatermass has got to speak to him. Because he's in no condition to talk, he's got to talk, and all that, because he's horrible. And anyway, this fella, he's a doctor, this fella. What's his name? I never remember names. Dr. Briscoe. I should remember that, shouldn't I? Briscoe County Junior, whatever the bloody hell it was called, which I'd never seen. That was Bruce Campbell, wasn't it? Anyway, he just whispers to him, "Help me," because there's something up with him. There you go. That's just how he said, and then he starts doing that with his hand, giving it that. You see, he's in a lot of pain. Anyway, then newspapers come out. Space rocket sensation, scientific experiment successful. Well, it won't go that far. Last night, a rocket ship was successfully brought to land after a journey through outer space. Brought to land? It lawn darted into a farm. Anyway, there we go. Man Masters Space. Remember, this is 1955. This came out. The original thing was 1953, but... Anywho, 1954 there, it says, look, November 1954 is when three halfpence. Does that mean 3.5 pence? Or 3 halfpences? As in 1.5p? I don't know. Rocket lands at night in the countryside. Why the secrecy? Why has it got a picture of Antarctica? I don't know, it doesn't say, does it? There's no other. Power cable hit by plane. BBC in rival TV talks. Sports crowds getting larger. That's new, good news. But why is the picture of Antarctica? I have no idea. But it's the Daily Mail for Queen and Commonwealth. Anyway, sorry, I'm just... I like seeing newspapers and stuff like that on in films. I like reading all about it. So there we go. Why the secrecy? Rocket ship mystery. That's showing like a plane crash or something like that, isn't it? You can see the fuselage there. Quatermass, no to a police investigation. Of course, he's horrible. And then there we go, the Metropolitan Police Forensic Laboratory, and there it is in subtitles in case you can't read that there. Anyway, so this is where we're meeting Jack Warner. It is Jack Warner, isn't it? Yes, Jack Warner. For some reason, I'm thinking that he had another name, but there he is as Inspector Lomax. Inspector Lomax pops up again in Quatermass 2, but played by somebody else. But anyway, he becomes an ally of Quatermass, and he says, "Did you get it? Seems like something really important going on here. Did you get it?" "Yes, sir." And he pulls something out of his pocket and gives him it, and it's something for his electric shaver. There he goes for his shaving. He says he's off for a lunch date with his wife. Anyway, so he touched the astronaut Caroon because he was there for some reason. It said it was like a piece of ice. So anyway, there you go. Quatermass is here. I don't know what he's gone to see. Don't know what he's gone to see the policeman for, because it's at Scotland Yard, by the way, Inspector Lomax. But he's there to play pop with him. "I will not have your men coming into my research centre." Oh, why? Because the police are investigating. The Quatermass didn't want an investigation, did he? Of course. But so they start off as antagonists and end up becoming, allies. Anyway, so they've got to do their investigation, basically. So he's brought all the files for him he's cooperating. So anywho, meanwhile, back at the research centre, Quatermass says we're not sending him to a normal hospital, which would probably be best for him, but Quatermass is a horrible man. So they keep him in at the clinic at the research centre, where Dr. Briscoe's doing tests and stuff on him and seeing if he's okay. But I think he's saying something's going on with him, and his facial structure, his jawline and all that's changing. But see if it says it here somewhere. His heart's pumping differently, and there we go. His face and his skin's changing. And there you go. You can see his skin's changing there. By the way, it kind of has shades, this film. I know it came out a million years before, but it has shades of... it probably inspired Life Force, Toby Hooper's Life Force, which we've covered before, and also John Carpenter's version of The Thing. It's that as well. I know The Thing from Another World came out before this, but I think it might have inspired John Carpenter a bit for his version of The Thing. But anyway, considering what happens later, and the creature and the life form that is essentially what Caroon is growing into. And then he says on about this contours of his face, his bone structure's changing as well. And he's not speaking. I don't think he says a word apart from I don't think he has any lines of dialogue at all. But anyway, this is where he's telling him, that he wants to send him to a hospital as Dr. Briscoe, but Quatermass is basically saying no. His wife's there saying, my husband's back. Anyway, it's basically telling him, he's a tough man, like a test pilot, whatever, and he's been through all these stresses and all that, and he doesn't understand, what's happened to him. It's not just the normal rigours of going into space. Something is happening to him. So anyway, but Quatermass is just more concerned with, the mission. There he's looking at his wife. Oh no, he's looking at the plants. That's it. She brought some flowers for him. For some reason, he's obsessed with plants. I don't know why. Didn't really explain it. I don't think it does anyway. But he's looking at the plants. And there's another plant later on. Anywho, so right, where's Quatermass going now? Oh, I'm going to see Lomax again. I think they're agreeing to get on a bit now, to cooperate. Lomax brings in the fingerprints that he took of Caroon, and we see an example of his fingerprints. Hang on, let's go back a bit. Of his normal fingerprints. There we go. That they always take for the people that work at Quatermass's rocket group. But then he shows him, these are the prints we took of Caroon last night. Compare them. Dun, dun, dun. And he says, well, maybe the fella that took them were rubbish. And he says, no, he's a super duper expert and all that. They're not even human, we're told. But anyway, that's another clue. Anyway, meanwhile, back at the rocket, they found something in the rocket, so they're going to check it out. There is something down there, so it gives him a spoon. There's a sample spoon, so they scoop something out, and there it is. It's some form of jelly. They're not sure what it is. So organic jelly, and there's quite a lot of it about. And it turns out, I think they suspect what it is to begin with, particularly Briscoe and maybe Quatermass. It's essentially what's left of Green and Reichenheim, or whatever the hell it's called. Oh no, it was. What did it say? Yes, Reichenheim, yes. It's what's left of Green and Reichenheim, but they don't know what's happened to them. Something's happened to them, but basically just turned them into jelly. Anyway. So they get some more, and they give some, the Lomax says, can we have some as well for, pathology lab or whatever. Says, yes, we'll send you some as well. But this is when we learn that the film was recovered from the camera and sent off to the lab. And he goes, maybe the film will help. And he's like, film, I thought you said the camera was smashed. And he gets really angry again because he's terrible Quatermass. So there we go. Tell them to get anybody they want. It's pointing, Mark Gatiss reviewed this in one of his shows. I can't remember which one it was now. Probably History of Science Fiction. I think he'd done that, a show called that. And he loves these films as well, but he didn't like Brian Donlevy either. And he says they just like put him in an overcoat and pointed him in various directions. That's all he does. He just points, points his entire body, and occasionally does that, and shouts a lot. Tell he's awful. That's a Nigel Neal hated him. Anyway, so meanwhile, back at the lab, Briscoe's checking stuff out. He's going to go and give Caroon another check his vitals. That's to check his vitals. His wife's asleep in the chair. Oh, it shows him in a minute. Or her. There you go. She's asleep in the chair. So he checks him, and then he wakes up. Does Caroon, and tries to get out of bed. But anyway, meanwhile, this is where he's telling Quatermass that it's organic jelly, and he says it could be animal or it could be human. And Quatermass says, well, couldn't it be a plant? He says, no, it couldn't. It's it's an animal. It's something that's left of an animal. So they're basically saying, so this is what's left of the two astronauts. Anyway. So, anyway, Caroon gets out of bed and he's after these bloody flowers. Look, for some reason he's obsessed with getting plants. And he knocks them over. She comes out. Oh, come and help him. There we see his hands going all funky. And his face is going all funky. It's basically going funky all over. But, so I think he's going to send him to hospital now. He said, that's it now. We're sending him to hospital. She's angry with Quatermass. You've destroyed him, but she says, destroyed him, I brought him back, I saved him, because that's all he's bothered about, his own reputation, because he's a hateful man. He's slightly more heroic in Quatermass 2, thank goodness, but in this one he's bloody awful. Anyway, I can help him more than you or anyone else can. But you should be very proud to have a husband who's willing to risk his life for the betterment of the whole world. I don't know. No room for personal. I'll just play what he's like.
Some of us have a mission. You should be very proud to have a husband who's willing to risk his life for the betterment of the whole world.
It's pretty much what he's like all the way through the film. Pretty much. That sort of tone. Apparently wears a toupee as well. Because in Quatermass 2, apparently his toupee kept getting blown off. I don't know if there's any behind-the-scenes footage of that, but I bet that was funny. Anyway, so sending him to hospital. Meanwhile, this is where they're having the film developed. One of Quatermass's assistants has gone for it. The developer chap is saying, it might not be the best quality, but, it's the best we could do. He says, whatever, I'm out of here. Oh, so where we're learning that they've sent him to hospital, Caroon, and they're keeping him, top secret under guard and all that, and nobody's allowed to go see him. This is Lionel Jeffries as, I don't know who he is. It's called Blake, but I'm not exactly sure. I think he's a ministry man or something like that, somebody from the government. But everybody's wanting to see him. But anyway, anywho. Right, they're going to see the film. They're going to watch the film from the camera. So we're going to see what happened to them while they were in space. There they are, they're watching it. Again, another thing that he did in Quatermass and the Pit. Pardon me. They had them watching the film, didn't they? Of the scouring of the Martian hives. But I'd say he likes to repeat himself a little bit, doesn't he? There's Nigel Neal, but fair enough. So here we are, we're seeing him in space, doing all their spacey stuff, look. And we see him do a thing. Oh, there it comes on with every now and again it comes on with the gauges. And here we see, we're going to see it in a minute, a thing, years before 2001 A Space Odyssey. Hang on, I've gone too far. He walks up the wall, look, like that, cool. Let's go back again, there he is. Goes walking up the wall. There he goes, walking up the wall. Because the zero gravity and all that. Like I said, 13 years before they did it in 2001. It's obviously a rotating setting. But anyway. Then something weird happens. The whole cabin shakes and they're wondering what's going on. So they're putting the space suits on. And then something weird happens. They see something there. And then I think I've gone past it. There's like an effect happens. I'm going to show it. There we go. That happens. Something's passed through the ship, and basically Green and Reichenheim die, I suppose, and I forgot his name already. Caroon. Caroon doesn't, and there's they kind of show again in another experiment of that. So it's like, is it some sort of intelligence at work that they keep somebody alive for whatever reason? I don't know, but or maybe not. But anyway, whatever. So anyway, we see some things happen to them, and they don't know what. And then Caroon collapses, and then that's the end of the film. This is the hospital where they're keeping Caroon, his wife, who's called, I haven't told you what she's called, have I? Judith, Mrs. Judith Caroon, played by Marja Dean. She arrives at the hospital. She wants to see him, but this chap's the receptionist. He won't see, said you're not allowed to, basically. It's more than my job's worth. So she says, well, can you just phone up and ask him, if there's any change? And so he phones up. He says, no, there's no change. And she says, well, can I speak to somebody? So he tells her, he says, the nurse or whatever is going off duty soon, and it goes down through the staff entrance, so you can go talk to him there. So she says that. He says, if anybody asks you, I didn't tell you anything. So there we go. Oh, there we go. Perkins. So she goes there, but she's got a plan. She's there under nefarious purposes. So she finds the staff entrance. There it is, pissing it down. So but obviously knew about this because there's a car here with a chap in it who's called, can't remember. I'll have to look again. I'm hopeless. Is it Christie? Yes, it's Christie, I think. Yeah. Who's I don't know what he is, to be honest. But pay him to do stuff and he'll do it for you. So he's dressed up like, some sort of hospital worker. And she's sending him in to get Victor out. She wants to take Victor home because she's obviously a stupid woman. Anyway, so in he goes. There you go. Off he goes. And then he goes into the room. We learn he's in 4B, by the way. Room 4B. So he goes in. They go, I'm from Casualty. Perkins is sick. And Perkins must have been due to come on in half an hour. So she's supposed to meet the fella that were coming on duty rather than going off duty. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so he's gone in and told him, Perkins is sick, I'm taking over, you can bugger off, But, right, so the fella says, all right, cool, see ya. So the other fella goes, we learn that he just lies there awake all the time, staring and not saying anything with his weird skin. And says, if anything happens, you've got to press the alarm. Anyway, so he's telling him, come, Victor, I'm Christy, and I'm getting you out of here. I'm taking you back to your wife, but he doesn't care. And we think, and then he checks his pockets as the previous chap, and we think he's going back. He's forgotten something. And think, oh no, they're going to get rumbled. But then he gets distracted by two nurses, who he's going to take to a Chinese restaurant. So there we go, easily distracted. Meanwhile, Christy tells Victor, put your clothes on. I'm just going to check the coast is clear. So while he's doing that, Victor sees this cactus. And he goes over and there he goes going out to check. And he smashes the cactus for some reason. Anyway, he does and throws it across the room. And then he hides his hand. Anyway, so Christy gets him out. So there we go, gets him out. And then he kills Christy in the elevator, lift, whatever you want to call it. Here he is. Batters him with his funky hand that we don't see for a while. And then he comes out alone. Out he comes. He goes outside. There she's there, look. Doesn't ask, where's Christy? She doesn't care. But then the nurse finds what's left of Christy. Kind of gruesome, innit, for 1955, but there we go. It didn't linger on it, I must admit. It came on the screen and we're gone in no time. Anyway, so Judith is taking Victor, driving him away. And I thought they'd been a bit saucy here, because she went to touch his hand and something, and she went kind of like, ooh, sort of thing. And I thought, is there some sort of sexual reference going on here? But no, it's just about his. She thinks his hand is hurting him. But then he freaks out. She says, just show me your hand. But she's also got smoking, because everybody smokes then, didn't they? There you go, your hand. And she sees it, but we don't see it. She screams and he runs off. And then she's in shock, apparently, now. And she may, there you go, giving it all that. And we learn that she may end up going crazy. We don't see her again. Meanwhile, Quatermass and Lomax and all that have arrived at the hospital. And they're dealing with what's happened to Christy. Apparently, his life force, I think they said that. I think they might actually said that. His life force had been basically sucked out of him. Let's have a look. There you go. The life was drawn right out of him. So that's what I'm thinking about life force for. But anyway. So Caroon's disappeared. They don't know where he is. So they found her. Said she's may even go out of her mind. Anyway, his hand's all grey. And they mentioned something about a cactus, as though it was spiky like a cactus, and then Lomax remembers that there was a cactus in the room, so there you go. So that's a clue, apparently. Anyway, so they're putting like an all-points bulletin out on Caroon, and there you go, all checking, River Patrol 4 and all that, and checking. But there's Caroon, or Victor, I'll just call him Victor, who's avoiding the police quite well. Who's this? Is this? Has it killed somebody else, or is that Christy they're looking at? I think it's Christy still, isn't it? That they're looking at. There you go. The tissue structure's eaten away. They're not showing it again. And this is where Quatermass comes up with his idea that some alien life form passed through the ship because it's some sort of energy, and then it encountered organic life and wanted to control it for some reason. Don't know, but anyway. So, and then it came back down to Earth in the rocket, or basically in essentially the alien life form. It consumed Green and Reichenheim, and then for whatever reason went into Victor to use him as a host. So anyway, so basically what it's going to do, it's going to now it's got Victor's DNA, and now it's got the cactus DNA, so it's going to turn into an animal-plant hybrid, much like in the original Thing from Another World, but that did come out before this, so I can't say it ripped off this, because this is ripping off that, maybe. Anyway, go to live, it must have food. And then we see a fellow with a bin, and he goes into this chemist, does Victor, and and he starts smashing the place up. Here he goes, get your National Health prescription here, because we have a great National Health Service, we do. People moan about it. You're not moaning about it when you're poorly, are you? And they're helping you. Anyway, starts smashing things up, and he's like, hey, what do you think you're doing, governor? And all that. Then he notices his hand's poorly. This is where we get a good look at his hand. And he says, are you in pain? There you go, because it's been all kind and nice. And then shows him his hand. There it is. Do we get hang on, let's look again. I'm going to show us it. There it is. There it is. His hand's gone all funky and swollen with cactus spikes sticking out of it. And of course he batters the bloody chemist to death because, he can't help himself. There we go. Ah! No! Meanwhile, hang on. Lomax's phone rings. He's having another shave. He's obsessed with shaving for some reason. He's Lomax. But phone rings, says, I'll get it. And then they do this scene where they just have him walking over, whistling. And I have no idea why. Were they running short on time or something? I don't know.
I'll get it.
Anybody walk to the phone whistling? Do they? I don't. If the phone rings, I'm not like... Oh, dear. Anyway, I'm like, oh, I'm coming, I'm getting it before the answering machine kicks in. That's what I'm doing anyway. Right, so he's got to go out. So he's going to miss his dinner, and so he's got to go out because got to go to the chemist. They found what's happened at the chemist. So his wife playing Hummer with him. She says, what shall I do about dinner? He says, cook it and cross your fingers. Right, so this Briscoe thinks that Victor was trying to kill himself, trying to find chemicals to kill himself while he's still got his human faculties. But obviously it didn't work out that way. But then they find the chemist's body. At first they said they've looked everywhere, there's no sign of the chemist's body. Obviously they didn't think to look in this little closet. Of course he's in there. And there we go, we see that he's been got as well in a skeletal sort of way. There we go, somebody else. Meanwhile, Victor's still wandering about, evading police capture on the, I think the East Docks, I think it's, this bit was filmed on the East Docks. Yes, East India Docks, that's it. Yes, the East India Docks. The zoo scenes, we're going to get some zoo scenes coming up, and I thought they were London Zoo, but it turns out it's not. It's Chessington Zoo. I think it's supposed to be London Zoo, but it's not. Anyway, that's to come. So anyway, there he is, moaning again, like, he's in agony and all that stuff, because he's transforming from within. Anyway, he finds a barge and gets on board, and now, next morning, oh, pardon me, a young girl comes with her dolls, and this is a young Jane Asher, who's a British actress, possibly most famous for being engaged to Paul McCartney at one time in the 60s, when she was young. Well, she'd been about 20-ish, I think, when she was with Paul McCartney. But she was also, spookily enough, in 1972, she would appear in another Nigel Green production, well, not production, another thing that Nigel Green wrote, The Stone Tape, which is amazing. That's another of my favourite things, which I might do one day, Friday Night Appointment with Fear. Maybe at Christmas, because it was a Christmas thing, although it's not set at Christmas. But anyway, so we're in that as a grown-up in The Stone Tape. It's really good. Seek it out, it's amazing. Made for TV, 1972. Allow for that, but it was amazing. Anyway, so here she is, young Jane Asher with her dolls, and this scene's kind of reminiscent of the Frankenstein, 1931 Frankenstein scene with the little girl that he throws into the lake, but luckily she doesn't get thrown into the water. She's doing a tea party for her dolls, and then Victor comes out, and she's saying, "Do you want some tea? Do you want to play with me?" And they're like, "No," and he knocks the doll out of her hand. And there she is, young Jane Asher. So there he goes, knocked it out of her hand. His dolly's smashed on the floor and he's run away, but she's safe, don't worry. And she's got a frightfully posh little voice, even though I think she's supposed to be a little ragamuffin from, not a wealthy family, but she's so frightfully posh. Anyway. So then he goes, walks away from her, just see her there standing. But she's safe, she's not being thrown into the water. He needs a shave again, doesn't he? Maybe that's why he's shaving all the time. He must, he's a proper man, beard just like that. If he misses a shave. Anyway, that's where we're learning that, the little girl's just told her mother about this fella that she saw. So, anyway. Meanwhile, Victor arrives at the zoo. I think it's supposed to be London Zoo, but as I said, it was filmed at Chessington Zoo, which is Surrey, I think. I've never been. Anyway, so here's this fella checking on all the animals, but Victor arrives in a minute. Actually, I think Victor's changed now. I don't think we see him as Victor again. I don't think we do anyway. We see some eyes we see all the animals and we see some eyes. They're all, something's bothering them all. They're all like, restless. And here we go. I think it's in here. We see a pair of eyes looking out. As you can see, it's quite low. Oh no, that was something else, wasn't it? Here we go. There we go. So we see Victor there. That's the last we see of human Victor. But as you can see, he's changing. So anyway, so he goes slurping out. There you go. You can see there, he's leaving a trail behind him. He's essentially turned into a big slug. But anyway, going to the lion house for some reason. Must want a lion bear. So next morning, they found dead animals. So they've called Lomax and Quatermass. They arrive. Check the dead animals there. A dead leopard and a dead, whatever that deer, I think. There's basically dead animals all around the zoo. I don't know if they just knocked them out or if they just found some dead animals, exotic pets. I don't know. But anyway, is it breathing? No, it must just be a dead leopard or whatever it is. Maybe it's an ocelot. I don't know. But anyway. And they've also got these trails, leading to them. There's all these trails about. So just follow the trail and you'll find Victor, won't you? Because he's essentially turned into a huge mollusk. Yes, bring out your dead animals. There's another little deer there with a trail leading up a fence. Oops, I pressed the wrong button. What have I done? There we go. So he's telling them to close the zoo, get everybody out of here, etc. But not telling you why, but just do as you're told. So not letting people in. Sorry, miss, you can't come in. Zoo's closed for the day. And she says, we've come all the way from Epping. Well, bugger off. It's London. Go and look at the Buckingham Palace or a museum. But the zoo's closed. Sod off. So they're getting everybody out. There you go, everybody's leaving the zoo. There were more trails. There you go, Quatermass. So he's gone through them bushes. And what they found, I can't remember. It's alive. Oh, it doesn't show us. It doesn't show us, but it's alive. So it's a piece of Victor. So they put it in a sample box, but they're not showing us it yet. They're taking it back to the lab. He's got his big. There he goes. He's got his big. What do they call them? Elongated scissor things. I've got some for the garden. For picking up rubbish in the garden. That one of them, innit? Anyway, a grabber. Anyway, meanwhile, so they take it back to the... Well, not meanwhile. They take it back to the lab. And they go, in less than 12 minutes, every animal completely absorbed. So they put several mice in with this chunk of Victor. But it left one. One of them's okay for some reason. It tripled its size in an hour. This is like, The Thing again. John Carpenter's The Thing. Where a fragment of it can reproduce and grow and to stay alive and eat. So... Anyway, is it going to show it? Hang on. Show the other mouse. For Pete's sake. I want to show it. There we go. There we go. So that's the bit of Victor that's growing. And it's for some reason it kept another mouse alive. But it doesn't stay alive for long. I don't think it does anyway. That's why we're thinking, is that why Victor were kept alive, so it could, spread as a host? Is that what it's going to do with this mouse? But no. I preferred elongated scissors. Whatever's your poison. Anywho, but they're not scissors, it's a grabber, isn't it? Anyway. Right, so there we go. No living thing on earth that stands a chance against it. So, they've got to fight to save the world. Anyway, so meanwhile, at a police station somewhere, I think this is Thora Heard. I think it is. I could be wrong. Let me double check. I think it is. Thora Heard, where are you? Yes, it is. But she was a famous comedy actress back in the day in the UK. And she's doing like a comedy bit here. It's like a drunk old woman, and they know her, and she's obviously coming out with these tall tales all the time at the police station. But and here comes Sam Kidd as the sergeant. As I said, he looks like Hoggle from Labyrinth. And so yeah, she wants to make a report. So she starts saying what she's seen. Basically, she's seen Victor, who's now is like a huge sluggy octopusy type creature. She's seen him slithering up a wall, and obviously all the police everywhere in London must have been told what to keep an eye out for, because he realises what's gone on. He says, "I think you've actually seen it this time." Elizabeth, or whatever they call her, Rosie. Rosie. So there you go. So she said, "Oh, so it wasn't an hallucination." Anyway, so there. So they've got a clue as to where he might be. So, the phone rings and Quatermass answers it. And it's Lomax telling them they've got a clue, but they've got to go out and investigate. So it's Briscoe's making sure the container with the bit of Victor in is secure. But unfortunately, it's not super strong glass. Then Eowyn says, "I am no living," and stabs it. No living thing stands a chance. Oh dear. I'm no living. It's be a zombie or something. Or a vampire. A vampire would sort them out, wouldn't they? They're not alive, are they? Anyway, so here we are. We found like some sort of viaduct, and there's a slime thing up it with a big ladder. I wouldn't want to go up that ladder. I'm terrified of heights. But Briscoe clambers up that ladder like up he goes. Look, hey, no messing. I'm not bloody climbing up there, but he does. Up he goes. And there you go. Checking. Oh look, the trail ends here. He says, but not there now. But he needs his case to get more info, more samples, and they're all watching. And so Sam Kidd, look, there he is. Anyway, so basically, keep an eye on the area, and warn the children especially. But the only person he hasn't hurt is a child, but never mind. Anyway, back in the lab, here we see some rats, some of the other rat or mice, whatever mice are there, some other mice in the cage, and then we go to see the. Hang on, I've gone too far, for God's sake. There it is. It's grown, look. It looks like it's eaten the other mouse, doesn't it? And it basically breaks its way out of the cage. The case. There it is. Psh, breaks out of it. Because it wants to get to them, doesn't it? Windgrace says someone should write a buddy cop series where a cop dies and his ghost has to team up with his zombie corpse to solve supernatural crimes. It's kind of a bit like Randall and Hopkirk, Deceased, isn't it? That was a cop series where his partner died. I think they were private investigators, though, weren't they? Not police. But anyway. And it's here it comes across the floor, trying to get to the other mice, but then it dies. Doesn't get there in time. There we go. So anyway, they come back in just in time, and they see the what's happened. There it is, and says, "Is it dead?" And saying, "Don't touch it, because there's spores on it." Look at those phalanges, spore-producing patches. That's how it spreads. The infection. And they're talking about, it could spread, if it's out there producing these spores, another 24 hours, a few days, the whole world will be infected. Anyway, so, said we need soldiers and everything. We've got to deal with this now. We've got to find him. But little do they know, he's in Westminster Abbey for some reason. This is where we meet Gordon Jackson. Is there? I think he's the director. There's some TV programme going on about the restoration of St Westminster Abbey, and the camera goes off for some reason. Camera 1. He says, "Oh, go to camera 2." There we go. The restoration of Westminster Abbey. Your guide, Sir Lionel Dean. Says, "Go to camera 2," and then we see people are dealing with a dead body. I think that's Sir Lionel Dean. So he says, "Oh, kill the transmission. We've got to go see what's happened." So people watching the BBC that night, I'll just see them just handling a dead body for a few seconds before the screen went to, normal service will be resumed as soon as possible. Although that was probably made after this, but never mind. So they go and check it out, and there we go. We see there's the slime trail there. Obviously they don't know anything about it yet. So anyway, Sir Lionel says, "Well, should we carry on filming in another part of the abbey? I'm all right." Poor dead man there. Apparently he fell, and we learn that in a bit he was dead before he fell. Anyway, there we go. "I think we'd better carry on in another part of the abbey." So off they go. Meanwhile, our heroes arrive. There's Quatermass striding about. Look. So anyway, we learn that he was dead before he hit the floor. So something killed him up there somewhere. So anyway, there you go. Following, what's that? Oh, they're cables, aren't they? They're starting their transmission again from another part of the abbey, and so there we go. Coming on to you, camera 3, but then camera 3. They see something up above or something. There we go, and we see that's what Victor's turned into, a big octopusy, sluggy type creature. That's to do use an octopus in a minute, but there it is. Must be 20 feet across, and it says kill transmission again. So people are trying to watch the telly and just getting bloody normal service will be resumed as soon as possible. If it's the BBC, you see, we can't cut to commercial because there's no commercials on the BBC. But anyway, so there it is. We're looking at that. Quatermass and Briscoe have arrived. It was 20 times the power of reproduction. What? Anyway, so there you go. If the nodules spore and spread, nothing will stop them, or something. So Quatermass has the idea they're basically going to electrocute it and use all the power of London, put it into because it's on the scaffolding. So they're going to rig up the scaffolding with electrical cables and stuff and electrocute it to death, which is the part that Nigel Neal didn't like. But anyway, so that's what they're going to do. It's changing again. Are we going to show a close-up of it? No, we're not. They use a real octopus on some of the close-ups. And there's a part on it, and I'm thinking, did they kill this octopus? I don't know, but anyway. Or is it a special effect? I couldn't work it out. We'll see when we get there. There you go. It wants to send enough current into that seal to burn it up. In the original BBC version, they were prepared to try and kill it somehow, to stop it. But it turned out in the original serial, the what do you call it? That the essence of the three astronauts was still inside the creature. Caroon, Green, and Reichenheim was still inside the creature, and basically Quatermass convinced it to kill itself. So there we go. Through getting through to the minds of the three astronauts that were still in there, and it killed itself, to save the Earth rather than we having to kill it. But no, in this one, they're going to blow it to smithereens with the electricity. So there we go. So this is what they're going to do. Look, so we're going to see all the lights going out, and apparently for the film they did actually get permission to basically black out London for a while and And apparently a mistake did happen. I've got it in my notes. I keep forgetting I've got notes. By the way, the monster that you see that's not a real octopus is entrails and tripe. Bovine entrails and tripe. Anywho. Now then, does it say here? No, it doesn't. I haven't got it in my notes. Typical. So let me check in the trivia. Bear with me. I've seen it somewhere. Where have I seen it? There was a mistake, and basically all of London were blacked out. Where is it? I can't find it. It was here somewhere. I'm sure it was. Is it this one or is it the next one? There's a colour version. It was actually filmed on colour film, but transferred to black and white for some reason. That might be Quatermass 2, I think. Anyway, whatever. No, it's not in here, is it? Where have I seen it? Maybe it's in production on Wikipedia. Where are we? For the shot of the lights of London going out and the electricity is diverted to Westminster Abbey, an agreement was made with one of the engineers at Battersea Power Station to turn off the lights, illuminating the outside of the station. However, the engineer misunderstood and briefly cut all the power along the River Thames. Anyway, so there you go. Anyway, so how the lights going out because they need all the power. There we go. Attention, everybody. There's no cause for alarm. Don't worry. Just killing an alien. Don't worry about it. So here we go. There it is. Getting ready to zap it. There we go. Oh, there's the octopus. There we go. That's a real octopus. That's not in the water, obviously, and there's stuck spikes in it. Kind of cruel, isn't it? But poor thing. The 50s. Didn't care, did they? Animal welfare. There'll be no thing at the end of this saying no animals were harmed during the making of this. But anyway, so it goes striding out, look. There we go. Hold on. Hello, Battleseed. You mean Battersea? Tell me the subtitles on these two films are terrible. So there we go. There we go. And off it burns. Burning away. Poor thing. And then it cuts to, is it going to show it? The actual octopus. This is the actual octopus, look. Did they set the actual octopus on fire? It looked like it, didn't it? Maybe they had calamari or whatever. I don't know. There's that squid in it, calamari. Maybe they had octopus tentacles for lunch. I don't know. But again, look. Cruel. Looks real to me. Looks like they set fire to an octopus. Anyway, and that basically does it. That kills it. They electrocuted it to death. There we go. And I think it just all disintegrates and there's not much left of it. But, so there we go. So that's the end. Quatermass, why wasn't I informed about all of this? Oh, well, that's Lionel Jeffries, so the government man. Then he's easy to go, I only just heard, sir. Could have been here sooner. What we're going to do? So he does his, what are you going to do? And this is where he does his immortal line. Go back.
I'm going to start again.
I'm going to start again. You mean I'm going to start again? No, I'm going to start again. And then he walks off. Into the night. Dun, 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 dun. There you go. A Hammer production, and it ends. It's a good film. I like it. But I just don't like Brian Donlevy. Bloody awful. So that's the end of the Quatermass Xperiment. It's good. Give it a whirl. I don't know how you can see the original BBC serial. And it's on my DVD set, but it's incomplete. It's one of those, like the Doctor Who's, where like, episodes have been lost. It was like that. So it's not a complete version of it. That's unless it's being found, I don't know. But anyway, so there we go. So anyway, it's cool. Get rid of that while I sort myself out. Right. yeah, so I like Quatermass Experiment, but to be honest, I think Quatermass 2 is probably a better film. Probably a better film. So let me set this up and then we'll get on with it. There we go. Right. Quatermass 2, which were produced based on the 1955 serial, I think, called Quatermass 2. Yes, based on the 1955 TV version, Quatermass 2. This came out in 1957. I think it was the first movie to have a 2 in the title, as in first sequel to be called the 2. I think other sequels or other franchises didn't bother having numbers in the, unless it were a number that were relevant. But you know what I mean. Didn't have don't like Sherlock Holmes 2, when Basil Rathbone were doing all these Sherlock Holmes films. They want Sherlock Holmes and Sherlock Holmes 2, were they had titles, didn't they? I think this is generally considered to be the first one to have a 2 and a number 2 as well, even though the poster for it had a Roman numeral 2. But anyway, where were we? Hang on, let me get rid of these. Give myself some space in my tabs. Anyway, again, this one was directed by Val Guest. Screenplay this time by Nigel Neal and Val Guest, so that's maybe why I liked it a bit more, because he had a bit more hands-on. Again, Brian Donlevy's back. Oh, God, awful. John Longdon. I think John Longdon plays Lomax in this. Sid James, who you may know from the Carry On films. Brian Forbes. William Franklin. Vera Day. And there's some others as well. Michael Ripper, he's in it as well. Hammer stalwart Michael Ripper. I forgot to mention the music for the first one and this one. James Bernard, or James Bernard. Another Hammer stalwart. And you can tell with the music, it's very Hammer filmish, very Dracula-ish. Anyway, budget for this was £92,000 or £117,000, depending where you look, I suppose. But anywho, this one's more of a sci-fi. It's classed as sci-fi horror. I don't know what certificate it was. Did it say on the poster? Can't tell because the poster's not big enough. Never mind. I don't know what certificate this one had. Oh, got rid of the bloody thing. Never mind. Anywho, have I got notes about this as well? I think I have. What else? Yes, Brian Donlevy reprises his role as Bernard Quatermass, making him the only actor to play the character on screen twice. In spite of this, he was reportedly Quatermass creator Nigel Neal's least favourite actor in the role. Andre Morell, I think, were in the original Quatermass in the Pit. He were brilliant Quatermass. But Andrew Keir were good, and John Mills were good in the Quatermass conclusion, Quatermass conclusion in 1979. He were good as well. Oh, this is the one. Originally shot in answer colour, developed by Agfa, but released in black and white. The colour negative still exists in the archive. So why haven't they done it in colour? In between takes, Brian Donlevy's toupee was accidentally blown off by the aeroplane engine wind machines used during the film's climax. Fortunately, we didn't see it. Anyway, right, where are we? We've kind of gone back to subtitles instead of numbering again. Yeah, we have really. Don't see many films with numbers now. I don't know. When was the last one? Iron Man 3? Could have been. I don't know. We've got Toy Story 5 coming out, haven't we? Inside Out 2. So, yeah, no. They pop up occasionally, don't they? They pop up occasionally. Oh, yeah, unless it's a Disney sequel, yes. Sorry. Did he ever team up with Kolchak? Could have done, couldn't it? They've been good. Imagine that. Quatermass and Kolchak together. But anyway. Right, so we will begin Quatermass 2. I shall make myself tiny. There we go. Hang on. I'm going full screen. I nearly forgot. Right, here we go. Right, we're off. Off we go. We begin. Somebody's driving a car in the middle of the night/day. Something's up. Whoever's in the car is ill. There's a chap there. There we go. He's got some sort of thing on his face. There we go. The burn wheel get it fixed, she says. Anyway, they nearly have an accident because he grabs the wheel and they go out of control, on the rear projection screen. Don't worry about it. But then they go way down there, and who do they almost hit? None other than Quatermass. He comes out to check. Well, how it looked like that. I've never seen a burn like that, and he's been all shouty as usual. But there she's describing what happened. They'd been for a picnic at Winnerden Flats. It's supposed to be a village that's disappeared in this film. A village that disappeared. That's what she says when she got there. Went to this village to have this picnic, and it's not there anymore. Then they heard this noise like falling, and then this thing, a stone or whatever, opened up and burnt him. So they're going to try and get him to a hospital, and he runs away. He sets off running away. And what's this? She must be a stunt woman or something, because she just, hey, look, just cops on of him. Anyway, so they were going to take him back in his car, take him to hospital, etc. And we don't know what happens to him after that, because this is essentially a conspiracy film. There's a huge government conspiracy going on. And we don't know if they got to him. We presume they did. Maybe it tells us and I just missed it. Anyway, then we go Quatermass 2. Dun, dun, dun. Starring Brian Donlevy. Don't have to share top billing this time with Jack Warner. And there we go. There's the others. There's all the others. I don't know who Vera Day is. Who's Vera Day? Is she the girl that dances? Just bear with me. Bear with me. Where are you, Vera? Yes, she is. She's not in it very long. Anyway, I mean, there's some people that are in it miles more than her that don't get that sort of billing, but never mind. Do you still spell it tyre there? Yes, we do, with a Y, properly. Yes, as in car tyres, and wheels and stuff. Vulcanised rubber, etc. There we go. Story by Nigel Neal, screenplay by Nigel Neal and Val Guest. Who's doing special effects this time? Oh, we've got several people. Bill Warrington, Henry Harris, and Frank George. Very good. Directed by Val Guest. There we go. And we begin. I've got to notice the background change when it pans up. Does the sky change? It must do. Yes, I think it does it there. Because it panned up, and then we get through all the credits, and then it moves along, and then we're at the rocket group, rocket base, and we've got a big radar, and this is where we're going to meet William Franklin and this other fella. They're seeing things coming down, and we learn that they're about 90 to 100 miles away. Just happens to be in the area where Quatermass is at that time. But it shows it on the radar screens. There they are. They're watching them going down. Saying they're slower than meteorites. I don't know what they are. They're weird. But their radar's picking it up. Anyway, Wingray says, that's what the subtitles said. That's one I didn't know. Cool. Yes, we still spell it tyre. And centre is R-E and theatre is R-E. What else do we spell differently? I don't know. Anyway, they're watching that, and then it stops and then starts again, so there's like these waves of these things falling slowly to the ground from somewhere. Anyway, and they're working out where it is, somewhere up the coast, 100 miles or so. I don't know where this map is, because 100 miles in the UK is a lot. I live in a town that's basically smack bang in the middle of England, and it's like more or less equidistant from each coast, the Irish Sea and the North Sea, and that's only like 60, 70 miles, so, Anyway, whatever. So I don't know what we're looking at here. I'm trying to work it out, what part of England this is. Could be Norfolk, maybe, but that's not 100 miles, I'm telling you. That's not 100 miles. But never mind. Right, so there we go. Oh, it's Marsh, is that Marsh? Here comes a cropper, does Marsh. Anyway, right, so Quatermass has arrived finally. Presume he's dumped them women off, that woman and that bloke off at the hospital. He's finally arrived. He's playing Hummer. Oh, reset that scan. He's shouting again, playing pop with his people. Because he's in a mood, because he's, Brian Donlevy, that's all he knows how to do. Anyway, then we're seeing that apparently he's been, hang on, just bear with me. There we go. He's been to see the ministry. By the way, 100 miles doesn't even get me out of my state. As I said, it's a little island, is Britain. It's a little island. Although it's the 8th largest island in the world, it's not massive, is it? Anyway, where were we? Alright, been to the ministry, and apparently the funding's been pulled. So, he's not happy, that's why he's a bit cross. So, they're not going to get their moon base. This is what they were going to plan on doing. They're going to build a moon base with steel domes and all that stuff, with 50 rockets and stuff to get it all up there. There's the rockets. They go, beings alive on a totally dead world, etc. Solar mirrors, producer units, pressure domes, etc. But they're not going to give them the money. But we learned that the money has gone somewhere else, because we do see the moon base again in a bit. Anyway, so they've told him he's got to go and study atomic theory again, because apparently he's built a new rocket that's atomic powered. It doesn't mention what happened before in the previous film, so I was thinking, is this a prequel then? But then it isn't, because we see Lomax, and Lomax kind of suggests that, they don't talk about what happened before, but they have had dealings before. So, but they don't mention what happened. Anyway, so he's going somewhere. There we go. There we see his rocket. He's got his rocket on the pad, all ready to go. His atomic rocket. They keep saying if you launch, it looks like launching an atomic bomb into space. That's what they say it once or twice, just to reiterate, because that's what it's going to be used for at the end, essentially. There he goes, we should try it, a cruelless untried. Anyway, but whatever. It's not happening. But there we're seeing that more of those are falling 100 miles away. Right, who's this? We're back there again. There's Marsh. Oh, crikey. Right, it's come back. I presume it's the next day. Yes, I forgot. When he helped that man and that woman, she had parts of the stone. That was it, the meteorite. She had parts of it. She said, pick this up, and it burned him. Something came out of it, and it burned him like a gas or whatever. So Quatermass had it in a handkerchief, and he says, get that tested, and all that stuff. So he's come back today, and William Franklin and Marsh and all these, they've basically reconstituted it into what it looked like before. So, and it was like it's symmetrical and hollow, and they do a reproduction of what it had looked like before it came through the atmosphere, and it's obviously an artificial thingamabob. So anyway, so he decides he's gonna go. This is where they tell him all about these things that have been falling, that are 100 miles away. Exactly where he was at Winnerden Flats, and so he's going to go over there. Him and Marsh are going to drive over there. So off he goes. Now there you go. I want you to make a reconstruction of the shape of this thing. So that's what they're going to see when they get back. But off they go up the Carlisle Road. I'm trying to work out. Carlisle's in Cumbria. So that's like the northwest of England. Below Scotland, you've got like Cumbria, and then you've Scotland. The Lake District, the English Lake District, is in Cumbria. Used to be called Cumberland, now it's called Cumbria. But anyway, they're off up the Carlisle Road, whatever that is. Our roads now tend to have numbers with like A1, M1, stuff like that. We've got an M666 not far from where I am. The Devil's Road. Or was it A666? I think it's A666. Anyway, there we go. Carlisle and the North. There they are. By the RAC. So off they go. They're going to arrive at Hemel Hempstead New Town, which was just being built. But it's supposed to be, what's left. There's supposed to be a new thing being built at what was Winnerden Flats, a village that's disappeared. But anyway, they come across this government construction site with this weird logo. It's like a V or a triangular logo, but it's supposed to be the government, and there's like armed guards and all that. And there you go. Do not proceed without special authority, and it's like this weird V-shaped thing. As I said, it's a big conspiracy. So anyway, so they're going to turn round. By the way, as they're turning round, soldiers appear out of the trees, watching them, and so they carry on. And right at the stop, he pulls over. And he notices something. He goes like, "Oh!" and freaks out a bit. Hang on, let's watch. You ready? Looks out the window and goes, "Ah!" What's he doing? I don't know. But anyway, looks out, sees this wrecked building here, but then gets out, and then he sees it's the moon base. Are you ready? There it is. There's their moon base in matte painting form, but never mind. Still looks cool. The moon project has been built at Winnerden Flats. I wonder, with steel domes and everything. Hang on, never mind. And then I don't know if it lands now or if they just see one that they previously landed. But anyway, they're good looking down. There you go. Whatever was at Winnerden has been fairly well flattened. Then they find one of them meteorite things. There it is. This one's quite recently broken. I think they find a full one. Yeah, a whole one, look. And he's holding it, and it cracks open and gets him. There you go, like that. Psst, ah! And he ends up with like a burn on his face with like a V-shaped. I think they're going to show it. There we go, like a V-shaped thing there. So maybe that's to do with the V-shaped logo. Maybe the visitors from V. Anyway, by the way, the film turns into a kaiju movie at the end. Just spoilers, but anyway. So, while that's happening, soldiers arrive with some sort of detection device. Don't like the helmets, they're pretty weird, aren't they? Couldn't find anything better. They look ridiculous, don't they? But anyway, they arrive. Here we go. And instead of, helping, they're all armed, look, with machine guns and all stuff, wearing gas masks. And he's saying, "You got to help me, friend." So they take him away and basically beat up Quatermass. There you go. Knock him down. And bundle him in his car and say, "Bugger off." So off he goes. He got off lucky, really, because later on they're just shooting people willy-nilly. Anyway, so off he goes. There he is, Hemel Hempstead New Town. After the war, new towns were being built in the UK. There was a lot of money floating about, probably from the Marshall Plan and stuff like that, I imagine. I don't know. From the rebuilding of Europe. So we had towns like Hemel Hempstead and Milton Keynes and other towns that were just, new towns being built. Lots of roundabouts, especially in Milton Keynes. Anyway, good old double-decker buses. So here we're seeing the town, the people living there already. But then there's no police there. There's no police. It's all controlled by, the base. And everybody that lives there works at the base, or most people do, as construction workers and stuff like that. While the base is being built. Right, so there you go. Off we go. Oh, I've got to find the community centre. So, the leader of the community is in there, so to speak. There he is. What's he called? Can't remember. I can't remember what it's called. Can't remember. Never mind. He'll tell us in a minute, I imagine. Anyway, there they are. Signed, etc., etc. So anyway, so he's wanting to report what's happened to his friend. His marsh has just been taken away by these soldiers, and he wants to know what's going on. And but he seems, doesn't really want to speak about it. But anyway. So that suggests that he, makes a hasty exit. But anyway, off he goes. Oh, pardon me. Right, so he ends up at a police station, presumably the next town over, and he's trying to report what's going on, but nobody really wants to do anything about it. So he goes back to the rocket base. Everybody's just getting ready to go home. Look, she's putting her cover on her typewriter. Remember them? Remember typewriters? Hey. Did I? I might not have done. I'm going to say, I think I started Mercury Rapids on a typewriter, but no, I don't think I did. I think I started it. Or did I? No, I don't think I did. I think Mercury Rapids were done on my computer. I think I did start writing, with the typewriter, Staff of Carnaff, one of my unfinished works that were on a typewriter. Anyway, whatever. Right, so he's gone in. He's there he goes. He's all dishevelled, and he's telling get everybody in, and we've got stuff to do, etc. By the way, has he? We notice. Is it showing? It's not bloody showing it, is it? His overcoat's got a tear in it or a hole in it, but I think it has here. Maybe not. I'm sure I thought it did. Anyway, never mind. So he's telling them what happened, and there we go. That we saw the moon base. Obviously, somebody in the government seen his plans for the moon base, and they've used it for Winnerden Flats. Obviously. Oh no, he ain't got a tear in it. So when does that happen? I'm trying to think now. Anyway, never mind. Right. So, what's happening here? Yes, that's it. Yes, I see it there. I'm looking at the stones, and it's there, isn't it? The reproduction of what it looked like before it came through the atmosphere. So it's obviously something artificial. Can't say man-made, something artificial. So anyway, he's got to go and talk to somebody. He's going to see Lomax, I think. Yes, he's going to see Lomax. His friend Lomax. So we have a bit of stock footage of London. Is that Trafalgar Square? Probably. I think, is it? I don't know. Is that Nelson's Column? It will be, won't it? So that'll be Trafalgar Square. Been there once when I was a kid, 11-year-old. Fed the pigeons, like you do. But then we got to not... There's actually quite a few shots, actually, of him in London. So it's nice to see him filming in London, isn't it? But there you go. He stops at presumably some traffic lights, and look, are they doing some work on... at the time, it was the Queen... St Stephen's Tower. Now it's been renamed the Queen Elizabeth Tower, where Big Ben is. Doing some work on it by the looks. Anyway, sees these trucks go by. There you go. Obviously with piping and stuff or whatever. But it's got the logo on of that place at Winnerden Flats. As I said, big conspiracy. Anyway. Right, so it's going to Scotland Yard. This is obviously old Scotland Yard, not new Scotland Yard with the rotating thing outside. This is old Scotland Yard. It's where we Lomax, who's not Jack Warner anymore. So anyway, so he wants to. There you go. He's asking him about Winnerden Flats, and obviously don't want to talk about it. But he shows him the the rocks and stuff, and what it did to Marsh, and what happened to him, the soldiers and all that stuff. What's going on there? Something's going on. It needs sorting out. It's not allowed. Shouldn't be allowed to happen, etc. So he puts him in touch with a member of Parliament called Vincent Broadhead, I think. But anyway, here we go. There we go. Vincent Broadhead. Yes, there we go. So who's a member of Parliament who's wanting an inquiry into what's been going on at Winnerden Flats. So he's going to go and meet him. So right here he is meeting Vinnie Broadhead, who's like an MP. So anyway, but we learned that after months and months of bothering him, he's finally got a pass to go and visit the plant at Winnerden Flats. So he's going there. He's supposed to be meeting the fella today with his passes, and as luck would have it, he just arrives when Quatermass is there. But there he is. Looks really familiar. I've seen him in something else. What have I seen him in? don't know. I'm going to check. I'm going to look it up. I don't know if he's got a name, though, to be completely honest. I don't know. But I've seen him in something else. I don't know. I don't know if it's not showing his picture either. So. Never mind. But he's got one of those faces. I've seen him in something. Oh, I know what I've seen him in. He's in Dracula. He's in Dracula. He plays Jonathan Harker in the Hammer Dracula. Horror of Dracula, it's called in America. Yes, that's where I've seen him. There, came to me. Anyway, so Broadhead says, could my friend here come with me? And he says, yeah, I'll be fine. So off we go. And then he looks at his watch and he says, we'll be leaving at 2. You've got just over an hour. We're leaving at 2. And then we see he's got one of them marks with the V on his heart and his wrist. So they go for lunch and then they're going to join the party to go to the plant. And I thought they pile on a bus or something like that. But no, 2 Rolls Royces pick them up. Hey, government spending, eh? So off they go in their Rolls Royces to this plant, which is a real plant. I'll tell you what it is in a minute. Where are we? Hang on. It's a Shell Haven refinery. That's where it was filmed. And I think the original BBC version, I think that were also filmed at the same place, but not as much. The film shows it more, apparently. I don't know, because I've not seen it. I'll have to watch. I'll have to dig it out. It's over there somewhere. I'll have to dig it out and watch the original BBC version. But anyway, so we're at a Shell refinery. But it's not. It's the moon base, remember. But not on the moon. It's in Winnerden Flats. Anyway, so they're arriving. Here we go. So obviously it's not showing the domes very much, just showing these tanks or whatever's in. But we do see the domes, but sparingly. So they're getting ready to go inside. It's going to show the domes in a minute. They pull over. See lots of pipes and stuff like that. They're being led through. And, yes, as they're walking, there's a woman with them. So I don't know who they are. More dignitaries, I suppose. But there's some workers go by, and there we go. Wolf, they do a wolf whistle, go. Of course, there we go. And that's when he says, certainly nothing abnormal about them. By the way, shades of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, by the way. Should have mentioned that. I know it's obvious, but yeah, shades of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Anyway, Quatermass sees this medical centre. So I was thinking, is that where they took Marsh? Medical centre. I'm going to check that out. So him and Broadhead sneak away from the group and head to the medical centre. But then this chap notices, what have happened to the other 2? So he's got to go and find them. I wish I knew what his name was, but never mind. So he's saying, has anybody been brought in here? And they're all saying, no, there is nobody here. Like that, No, there is no one. But he goes, I'm going to look anyway, because it's Quatermass is going in, but there's these beds and there's nobody there. Nobody there. So, anyway, so the other chap, Jonathan Harker, I'm going to call him from now on, comes out and gathers them up back to the group. So they continue their tour of the plant. Is it going to show the domes? In a minute. So they're going to go to the domes. They're going to show it yet. Oh, it's noticing the big thing that says ammonia on, and a huge chimbley. It's, by the way, it's supposed to be making artificial food or synthetic food. That's what the plant is supposed to be for. That's what he's saying. What are all these pipes for? It's for the food. So they're supposed to be, curing starvation across the world with this synthetic food, and all the domes and stuff are for storing the food in. So I forgot to mention that. Anyway, everything will be answered later. So off they go to the domes. It's going to show it. Not going to show it, is it? Anyway. So, come on, show us a bloody dome. It's not going to show us it, is it? I'm not going to land on one. Never mind. We will later. are we going to see inside the big dome? So no, they're taking them in here, which he says is an airlock. Now, so what's in here? It's an airlock. We see some workers down there looking up at them. There we go, with their gas masks on. It's all part of the process. So anyway, they go inside here and to this other area. And they notice, well, this fella notices that Broadhead's disappeared. They don't know where he's gone. He's snuck away by himself. Even Quatermass didn't notice. So he says, well, we'll get him later. But then that door starts closing. He says, what's that for? Safety precaution. So Quatermass quickly runs out. So he gets away. So all the others are trapped in there now. And he starts getting, aggressive, saying, we must continue. And he's pushing her and all that. So they're trapped in there now. I presume they're going to be changed. They'll come out and they'll have blisters with V's on and they'll all be speaking in a dull monotone. Maybe I'm one. Because that's how I speak. Anyway. So, here he is looking for Broadhead. I think he's actually calling out, Broadhead! Not trying to be, stealthy at all. But then he hears, Ag! There we go, in the subtitles, Ag! And Broadhead comes out at the top of one of these Borg Borg spheres. And here he is come down. He's all black and coated in something. And he leaves a big smeary handprint. Anyway, he goes down and he keeps telling Quatermass, don't touch me, it's burning. And he'd been inside and he got covered in the food, which is supposed to be the food. But apparently it stinks like sulphurous and ammonia and all that stuff. And then he dies. He says, don't touch me, this is the food and it burns. And then he dies. And then basically Quatermass has to run for his life because they start shooting at him. Sirens wailing, yes. Soldiers are coming, here they come. And they just start shooting. Don't want him to get out alive. But he can run like bloody hell, can Quatermass. I suppose if people were shooting at me, I suppose I could run. More than they normally would be able to. But, for an older chap, he does quite well. Here he is hiding from these soldiers, because, again, no peripheral vision. As they ran past, I didn't glance and see his feet there, but never mind. Is this fella going to start shooting? He is, look. Machine gun fire. Anyway, so he gets in one of the Rolls Royces. Obviously, we don't see bullets hitting the, super expensive Rolls Royce in a film that had, $70,000 budget, pound budget or whatever. But he gets away. Gets through the gate without smashing it open, luckily. As I said, very expensive Rolls Royce. Don't want to damage it. So anyway, he's escaped as Quatermass and ends up back at the police station at Scotland Yard. Wants to see Lomax. First, this is where we meet Sid James. He plays a reporter. I can't remember the name. Jimmy something or other. Jimmy Hall. And I think he's supposed to be the replacement for, and I forgot his name. In the TV versions of the Quatermass things, there were like a recurring character of a newspaper reporter, and I forgot his blooming name. Does it tell us in oh no, never mind. What was his name? I'm going to have to look it up now, because it's bothering me. Let's have a look. Cast, where are you? Where are you? Full of Love, James Full of Love, yes. He was a recurring character in the TV versions. So I think he's a replacement for James Full of Love. But we don't see in any of these Quatermass films, curiously. But anyway, this is Jimmy, what's his face? And he's drunk, but he's after he wants something that'll fill 1.5 columns. But they're not giving him anything. But then Quatermass comes in. Oh, we see he's got a Oh, that's it now. Yes, I remember now. Looks like he's ironed it, doesn't it? It's like he's left the iron on it, but he's cut it out. Apparently, it's where he's got some of the gunk off Broadhead, and he's cut it out with whatever. I don't know. He must have had some scissors with him. I don't know. But anyway, he's here to see Lomax. So anyway, so in he gets. There's Jimmy saying, I know that name from somewhere, and he remembers eventually. So anyway, so Quatermass is telling Lomax all about what's happened again, and that Broadhead's dead, and but then he shows him a newspaper report. They're showing him the cloth with the stuff that the deadly stuff that killed Broadhead. But then he shows him the latest edition of whatever. Vincent Broadhead leaves on a trade mission, but he's actually dead because we saw him die, and Quatermass says that. I was with him this afternoon. I saw him die. I was there with him. So as soon as they found out he were dead, they got this printed. And meanwhile, Big Ben is to stop for repairs. We saw it, didn't we? We saw St. Stephen's Tower, as it was then, in scaffolding. Why am I waving my arms about? Don't know. But anyway, ex-King Leopold meets the Queen. Oh, very nice. Anything else? But anyway, an official announcement today stated that Mr. Broadhead left London Airport suddenly this afternoon by private plane on his way to the Middle East. Electors who prof agent, he will do the rest. I think we've gone on to random words now. I find it necessary to again read of sturdy efforts, and here is all. Yeah, we just wanted that first paragraph, didn't we? And the rest doesn't matter. Anyway. Never mind. Somebody takes a turn for the worse. You can't see it's behind me, but down there it says, takes a turn for the worse. I don't know who that was. But anyway, Broadhead, as far as the public know, is on a trade mission. Anyway, so he says, I need your help. We need to look into this. So he says, yes, I agree. So I'm going to have to go and speak to the commissioner. So he gets on the phone. The commissioner's still in. So yes, so he's going to go and speak to the commissioner. So while he does that, Quatermass uses his phone to phone, the rocket base or whatever, and he's going to sort out a plan. Anyway, he's gone to see the commissioner, and he's saying, I've got something super important, and I need your advice, commissioner. And then he looks at the commissioner's hand. In a minute. Hang on. There you go. Looks at the commissioner. He's got that thing on him. So the commissioner's being got to. All work and no play makes a dull boy. Does it say that? What does it say on there? Just a minute. Something time for all good men. I'm trying to read it. Hang on, move my microphone out of the way. Now is the time. That's all it says, just repeated over and again. Now is the time for all good men, apart from the first part. So I get, yeah. So it's all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. That's weird, isn't it? Anyway, so he sees that. So obviously they've got to him. So then he says, it was this other case. I'm sorry for bothering you. So he says they've got to. He comes in and tells him they've got to the commissioner. But meanwhile, there you go. They found that the things are coming. They've managed to triangulate where all the little things are dropping down from. And there you go. It's coming from an asteroid in orbit, 200 yards across. So maybe it's a spaceship. Maybe it's a Muamua. Anyway, so this is where he's telling him the commissioner's being got to. Who knows? Who in the government's being got to? Don't know. But anyway. Meanwhile, the door handle opens and it's Jimmy comes in. So they've decided they're going to take him along with them and make it public and get Jimmy to do an article and all that about it and tell the public what's going on. So they're going to head out to the rocket base. So here he is, sobering up slightly, telling him all about it. But Jimmy says, these are just words. You're just saying techno-babble to me. Don't say that, but, what is it going on about? He says, I need to go to the plant and talk in the town and all that and talk to the people. I need to find out what's really going on. So I said, fair enough. Quatermass and Lomax are going to go with him. Anyway, so that's what they're going to do. This is where they're telling him, all the sciencey stuff. But telling him that they've got a colony already. That's what they're doing. These aliens from this asteroid, and we learned that the essentially the tiny little creatures, and he says there are lots of intelligences that make up a single consciousness, so they can all stick together and make a big giant monster, like we're going to see at the end. But anyway, he's saying, I need to go and talk to people, so off they go. And this is where it says, I'll meet you outside in a few minutes because he's going to sort out another plan. Meanwhile, this fella here, whose name I don't know, I forgot the name of his character as well. Maybe it's in my notes, is it? Yes, Edwin Richfield Peterson. This is Peterson. Would later play the minister in Hammer's third Quatermass film, Quatermass and the Pit. Yes, he plays the minister in Quatermass and the Pit. Anyway, so they're going to head over to Winnerden Flats again. Meanwhile, the lab's analysed, his piece of his coat. Ammoniac corrosive, highly concentrated. Basically, they said it's deadly stuff. That's what they're saying. Right, so off they go. Right, so they're arriving at Winnerden Flats, and there's some sort of dance going on. Somebody's doing an Irish jig, apparently. Here's Vera Day. I don't know if she's famous at the time, I don't know, but she does a bit of dancing. In a minute, you see this fella here, supposed to be doing an Irish jig, but she takes over. There you go, she does some dancing. There you go, I don't know. She's the winner. That's it. And then she goes and puts some more music on the jukebox and just starts dancing again. So, you can't stop her. She's like Lionel Blair. Can't stop dancing. Meanwhile, remember, secrets mean sealed lips. Because it's not that long after the war, is it? So, anyway, they arrive. Our erstwhile trio start asking about, is there any jobs going and all that stuff. But obviously, Quatermass gets recognised by the people he talked to earlier. So, anyway, we learned from this fella who's angry, has got a face that I know I've seen him in something else, but I don't know who he is. I don't know. Is it Gorman? I don't know his name. I've seen him in loads of stuff. He's got one of those faces. We learn that he is a worker there, and apparently they're starting to lay people off because the plant's finished or nearly finished. So there's only going to be the zombies there, which is what they call the people that have been turned. So obviously the regular workers, they probably didn't bother turning those. But anyway, so he's a bit angry about that. But Lomax comes on and says, listen to Professor Quatermass. He's got to tell you what's going on. So he tells them that it's not creating food, it's doing a poison that's super deadly and all that stuff. And they don't believe him, so they're going to throw him out. But then, here we go, we hear a scream, ah! And another thing's dropped through the roof, whatever they call them. Another pod. I'll call them a pod. We'll say the pod people. But, they've been having a raffle, look. Anyway, but a pod thing comes through the roof and almost hits this woman, or maybe it does hit her, I don't know, but she's upset about it, and it's gone through the stage. So that distracts them from throwing them out. So they go and check that. And but Vera Day comes, I think she's called Sheila, character, comes up and just starts playing with it. They go and check on her. And says, "Oh look, she got hold of it." And then Quatermass is saying, "Put it down really carefully." There you go. She's like, "It's fine." And obviously it gets her. Look, it gets her. And then as we're looking, there you go. She's got the mark on her, so she'll turn, won't she? Anyway, so Quatermass is going to get back into the base. He's phoning his editor with his story. Yes, they're hearing noises, the noise of more of the pods dropping. So there you go, it's a mass dropping. And so obviously things are accelerating. But anyway, soldiers from the base are coming, look. So Quatermass tells Lomax, get back to London, bring help, bring the army, whatever. But bring help. So he's going to do that. And Quatermass is going to, get into the base or whatever he's going to do. So they scarper. And these soldiers with his detecting device goes into the bar, and there you go. He detects things. He's talking to his editor and kind of hiding as well. And then they shoot him. They just see him there. So Sid James gets shot to death. So they've just watched through the window. So, they go running off. Driving off. Yes, I forgot about this. As they're driving off, he hasn't told him to go to London yet. He does in a minute. As they're driving, because he's not watching where he's going, as you see in a minute. They're looking at the soldiers all over the landscape. And as he's watching, they don't notice this fella. This was quite gruesome for 1957 this time, is it? Look out. Just run him over. Poor fella. So he's dead. By the way, I'll check, make sure we're still going. Yeah. And yeah. So they go check on him. He's dead. They've killed him. Run him over. Literally run him over. But then, obviously, the others have noticed. So they're approaching. That's how they hear a whistle blow. So this is when he says, "You go to London and get help," etc. I'm going to sneak into the plant. So what he's going to do, essentially, is he's going to steal his uniform. That's what he's going to do. And go in disguise. This is where he's saying this is where they're putting when the things drop, the pods, they collect them up and put them in these things, which we see later on what they do with these, whatever they call them, canisters later. Right, so, meanwhile, the rest of the, townsfolk, excuse me, they've turned into an angry mob now. Not a pitchfork in sight. I don't know though. Is that one there? Is that a pitchfork? Could be. But no pitchforks and torches. But they're just angry, and they march into the plant to deal with it with Hemel Hempstead in the background. So off they go. And they stop Lomax from going to London. Basically, they hijack his car and basically drag him along to the plant as well. So anyway, meanwhile the soldiers are returning to the plant, and there we go. Quatermass, pretending to be one of them, but he can't breathe. So he's like Lando, Lando in Return of the Jedi, when he just like pulls his mask down, so we can see it's Lando. That's what he's doing there. So we can see it's Bernard. Anyway, so in the goes. So he can have a look. He can have a nosy about, and it kind of turns into a James Bond film now. It's a James Bond film for a while, and then it's a kaiju film at the end. So we're hearing, voices. I'll do a thing of it. Like that, all that stuff. 10 seconds and counting, and all that stuff, So it's like a James Bond film now. He's in the bad guy's lair, secret lair now. This is what they do with the canisters. They're loading them up into these holes here, which lead into the domes, and so they're putting the pods into the domes. So that's what they're doing. Quatermass is watching, and he goes and looks into one of the into there, and we see what's inside. And what's inside is them, each whatever, lots of them. That all come together, to make one big creature. But so that shocks him a bit. But then they notice him, these others three, they notice that he's acting a bit strangely, because they're all doing their tasks like drones. But he's constantly just wandering about, not doing anything. So they notice. But before they can do anything about it, it comes over, attention, report to the gate, because the angry townspeople are arriving now. So they've got to go and deal with those. So Quatermass got away with that. Right, so the townspeople are coming. Here they are. So basically, they're gonna overpower the guards, essentially, because there's more of them. So that's what they do. There we go. Lots of shooting and fighting, and they go charging in. Shoot to kill, etc. That's what the bad guys are being told to do. So here they're all running in, look. This day, why couldn't it have just been at the daytime? Why don't you just say it was, instead of doing it day for night and we can hardly see what's happening, just say it's the middle of the day. But anyway, whatever. So they're all shooting at at each other, and anyway, they get inside this control room. Some of them, I don't know what's happened to the rest of them. Presumably they're still just running about outside, or maybe they're all dead. I don't know, but a few of them get in here. Then these bad guys appear on this upper station, but luckily, that one's Quatermass. Fatal shots fired, and he says, "Don't shoot, it's me, I'm Quatermass. I'm in disguise." There he is. He smashes that glass just to be cool. And we learn that this is a control room for the pumps that feed all the pipes into the domes. Luckily. But anyway, so there we go. There's the pumps. We've got oxygen. What is it? Methane, or as he pronounces it, methane. Ammonia, oxygen, and hydrogen. And he says what they're doing is he thinks they're acclimatizing the alien forms to our atmosphere. They usually breathe methane and ammonia, and they're acclimatizing them to an oxygen atmosphere. That's what they're doing. So he says basically turn off the ammonia and hydrogen and methane and all that. Turn them off so it's just oxygen that's going in, and it'll kill them. Hey, that's what he's saying. Anyway, it's Quatermass. So there we go, that's what they're doing. Should bring the oxygen to full pressure and it'll end up killing them. But he says it might take a few hours, and they're thinking, well, we might not have a few hours. Anyway, on the radio it's coming, you must get out of the control block or we will be forced to come in and force your surrender, etc. Blah, blah, blah. And some of them, for some reason, like this old fella here and a couple of others, think, well, we should surrender. Don't know why, but they do. But anyway, so he's telling them, go out there and, you'll become one of the zombies. But anyway, so they find a weapons cabinet there, so they've got some guns and stuff in there. Meanwhile, at the rocket base, there you go. I forgot his name already. Is it Brand? Yes, Brand. Brand is looking at his watch because Quatermass had said, if I'm not back by midnight, launch the rocket at the asteroid that's in orbit. Because remember, it's an atomic bomb, essentially. So that's the plan. That's what he's going to do. You're not seriously going to launch that bomb? He says, yes, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So that's what they're going to do. So, getting everybody up, and and by the way, security on the base was supposed to have been doubled, but that doesn't mean anything, because it doesn't make any difference whatsoever, because the bad guys are going to come marching in any minute now. But anyway, clear the base for firing. So they're getting everything ready. There you go, they're pulling levers and doing all that stuff, getting ready, fuel on, compression, etc. And then Marsh reappears, but he's under control of the aliens, and he's got soldiers with him. And I didn't see what happened to Peterson. They just throw him to the ground. That's what they do. Did they kill him? I don't know. He's just lying there. He just lies there for the rest of the film. Have they killed him? Maybe he bashed his head. I don't know. But he says, take Brand out of here. But Brand, luckily it's all set, and he's just got a plunger to do to launch the rocket, which is there. Look. So there you go. They march him out, then he runs for it, and they shoot him, and he plunges the launch plunger. I wonder if they have them on SpaceX rockets. They have a launch plunger. Bet they do. And off the rocket goes, look, yay! Woo, look, it's all shaking. And they've shot him, look, and there's all blood and stuff. If this were in colour, it's a Hammer film. It should have been in colour, shouldn't it? It was filmed in colour, wasn't it? I want to see the colour print of this. I'm going to search. to see if there is a version that is available online. Probably not. But anyway, there we see. He turns over, look, and there's all bullet holes in his back, all tomato ketchup and stuff. And I think they've all run away now of the bad guys because they think he's dead. And he's essentially, and he just goes up, pulls a couple of levers. I don't know what the levers do, but he must have needed to do it. And then he Said machinery whirs to life, and then he dies. And meanwhile, back at the base, so the rocket's on its way. They get into the weapons cabinet. There we go, some grenade launchers and stuff like that. He's got a halberd or something. I don't know what that is, but and there we go. Michael Ripper sees the rocket launch. There we go. It's not a flare. It's the only thing that can save humanity. There it goes. Look, whee, off it goes into space. Right, so they're still in there. I'm guessing it's supposed to be in a passage of time, although it's still dark. But anyway, somebody says, "What if you fire one of these? They've got anti-tank grenades. That's what they are, aren't they? Them things at the domes, blow them up." And Quatermass says, "Well, no, because that'll release all the spores." I think that's what he says. Yeah, whatever came out would be completely beyond our control. Best to poison them slowly if we can. That's a lot of ifs, and he's ready to give in. And but then we hear like them arguing over the radio. The bad guys, switch off, and they're arguing. So he's saying, "Oh, it's starting to work," because obviously with them being a single consciousness, it's basically arguing with itself, sort of, I suppose, like the Borg, innit? So the oxygen's starting to get to them and making them go do lally. But anyway, then they're going to try and they're still trying to appeal to the people that might want to come out, and this old fella wants to come out. So anyway, so he's phoning them up and saying, "I'm going to come out," and some of them do. So I think, all right, whatever. So they lead them away. There we see the domes. Look there, finally. Finally we see one of the domes. So they're leading them away to the domes. And it doesn't go well. We don't see what happens to them, but we're told what probably happened to them. So there we go. Off they go, leading them off to the domes. Anyway, I think some of the others are getting ready to leave. And then something happens. Something happens with this pipe. I don't know if it's happened yet. I don't know if we see it happen. It does in a minute. Because they started these noises through these pipes, as though something's coming through the pipe. Uniconscious hive mind. Essentially, yes, it is, yes. It's like the Borg. Here we go. This pipe cracks and something starts coming through it. Here we go. There you see it, look. And it starts dripping out. It says it's blood. Because it got blocked at the other end. And we see what happens now. There we go. It's blood. And so essentially what they've done, they've got the men that surrendered. They've used them to block the pipe at the other end. They've mushed them up and used them to block up the pipe, to stop the oxygen going in. So that's what they've done with them. So they're dead. Yes, those filthy murdering swine. That's what they are. And then it blows up. Because they start shooting. There we go. Start shooting. And I thought he shot his anti-tank thing. You think an anti-tank thing had blown up the dome? Fair enough, but it doesn't. Just this fella just starts shooting his machine gun, and that's enough. Just goes loud machine gun fire, and then it blows up. Boom! There we go. Because then we see Michael Ripper. Look, he's there, and he hasn't fired it. He hasn't fired his anti-tank gun. So a machine gun was enough. So I got it the whole dome, and then. All this gas comes out, so they have to put the gas masks on. And then they look out, there we go. It turns into a kaiju film. We see these three big monsters come out. It's supposed to be like 100 feet high or something like that. That's what he described. Here they come, look. Coming out of the domes. Like the smog monster from Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster. I can't remember what its name was. It had a name, didn't it? But I forgot what it was. Looks a bit like that. Or a bit like a Shellyak from Star Trek The Next Generation. A bit like them, aren't they? Or maybe a Horta. Whatever. Anyway, so here it is. Here they are. They're on the attack now, look. So, oh no. So they've got to get out. And there they are, look. So there's no stopping them now. We've got giant monsters. They're going to go rampaging across the English countryside, no doubt. But meanwhile, they've still got to fight these bad guy soldiers. As I said, this bit James Bondy. Pardon me. He's dead. So off they go. They get to the truck. They get out of the. They go smash through the gates. And they've got this fella. He's their proof of what's going on. They say throw him out. He says no, he's our proof. What's been going on? Oh, excuse me. Anyway, they stop here by this building, they overlook the base, there you go. The pain is driving them mad. But then, I hope we haven't missed it. I hope I haven't gone too far. There we go. Yes, no, I haven't. There we go. They look up and they see the rocket streaking across the sky. There it goes. And blowing up. Oh, no, big explosion in the sky. And they say, oh, what was that? And Quatermass says it were either the rocket just blowing up in space or it hit the asteroid and has destroyed the asteroid. And that's what must have happened. There you go. Either blew itself up but then they start dying. So obviously because the asteroid's been blown up, they start dying. Maybe it's because the main part of the consciousness were in the asteroid. Maybe, I don't know. Doesn't really say, but there we go. They start falling down and dying. So we have prevailed, thankfully. But then there's some sort of big wind. There must be some sort of big explosion. So it doesn't really show it, but like this strong wind appears out of nowhere, and this is where he gets his toupee blown off. But it doesn't show it, unfortunately, and there's no behind-the-scenes footage. But yeah, then there's all this wind suddenly comes from somewhere, and I'm not sure which direction it's supposed to be. Why are they hiding? Why aren't they using that for cover? Because this truck gets blown over. So why aren't they? I don't know. But anyway, they're on the floor and the truck gets blown over. Wind blows even stronger, it says. When it blows the truck over, there it is. And then it stops and everything's fine. And see, Lomax is okay. I actually thought Lomax wouldn't have copped for it in this, but it's fine. And so there they've won. Oh, and this fella that they captured, he was their proof, he gets up and it's gone. The thing's gone from him and he's back to normal. So I presume all the people in the government will all suddenly be back to normal as well. But what's he saying? The market's gone. The infection must be wearing off, leaving them, perhaps all of them, meaning all the people in the government and everywhere that's been infected. And they were just seeing what's left of his moon base and the alien kaijus. What worries me is how final can it be? So they're still, around. Probably not, because they blew up the asteroid, didn't they? And then he said, hey, what do you mean? And then off they go, and it just ends on that note. It doesn't say I'm going to start again. So there we go. So that's the end of Quatermass 2. Quatermass 2, which I think I like it more than the first one, to be honest. It's a bit more exciting and action-packed. As I said, it's a bit James Bondy with the the bass and stuff and machine guns running about, and so it's a bit more fun, in my opinion. But there we go. So that's the end of Quatermass 2. So the next one they would do, Hammer, would be Quatermass and the Pit, which I think was our very first Friday night appointment with Veer. I think that was number 1. I'm pretty sure it was. So we've done that one, so I don't need to do it again. And then in 1979, Nigel Neal would move to ITV. The Quatermass ones had originally been BBC things. It moved to ITV, and ITV and Euston Films would produce Quatermass. I think it was a 4-part, was it 4 parts or 6 parts? Can't remember. Series, which were edited down into a movie-length version called The Quatermass Conclusion, which I think were really, really good. It was kind of a sequel to Quatermass and the Pit, but I thought that one was really, really good. With the beam from space basically taking people away, dissolving people or whatever, and it was cool. I really liked it. But that was Quatermass 2 we just watched, and Quatermass Experiment, the oldie versions. Cool films. I really like them. I do. Apart from Brian Donlevy, who was awful in both of them, but the films themselves are fine. So there we go. So we'll leave it there. We're all done and dusted again for another week. So, right. So what's coming up next? I'll tell you. If I can remember. Monday. Right. Monday's... Magnificent Mondays this week, or next week, is going to be Dante's Peak, starring Pierce Brosnan and Linda Hamilton. A cool volcano film. I like that one. So that's that. And then next Friday... where is it? next Friday's... Next Friday's Appointment with Fear is going to be... It's not The Conjuring. It's going to be Annabelle. I can't get it out because it's in the set. So we're doing Annabelle for number 99. And then for number 100, which I haven't got it out. Hang on, just bear with me. Bear with me. I'll be back in a minute. It'll be torch because it's dark in here. Ow! Hey, I'm back. Right. And for number 100, so for Appointment with Fear number 100, it's The Exorcist. Be saving this for episode 100. So that's what we're doing in a couple of weeks. So that'll be fun. And for... where have I put it? And on the same day... Hang on, and on the same day, because episode 100 would just happen to fall on Friday the 13th. So on the same day, I'm going to pre-record an episode. So that'll, just appear during the day. But the live one with The Exorcist will be at the usual time. But I'm going to pre-record an episode, a special of Friday the 13th, the original one. Pardon me, so that'll be fun. And then next month, not this Monday, because we've got Dante's Peak this Monday, then the Monday after, Dante, I've got everything sorted out, haven't I? The Monday after, we're doing The Black Hole. Yay! Day. I love this film. It's one of my favourite films of all time. It's one of my, warm blanket films. I love The Black Hole. And there we go. But I've only got it on DVDs. Really hard to find on Blu-ray. Unless you want to pay an arm and a leg. And I think you've got to have like a multi-region Blu-ray player, which I haven't got. So. Anywho, so there we go. So that's it. We're all done. We're all done and dusted. So thanks, Wingrace. Did anybody else pop in? I didn't know. Don't mind, Dretch Tiger. Yes. And for keeping me company while I watch and talk about 2 old black and white films. Wingrace says, hooray, have a good weekend. Yes, I hope I do. I think I've got to cut grass tomorrow. Not cut grass as in drugs. I mean, trim the lawn. That's what I've got to do tomorrow. Unless it rains, fingers crossed. So anyway, right, so we'll leave it there. So, thanks for watching. Don't have nightmares. And until next time, I'll say there.